I'm going to kind of go over it because I know one of you wasn't in our class last week, and it was what we did last week is we took ordinary magazine paper. This was a magazine page that what it's called. It was called Momigami, and what Momigami is, it's kneaded paper or wrinkled paper. This is, you can kind of see the image is a little faint on here. So what this was done is I put some olive oil, and actually you can use olive oil, coconut oil, any kind of something, oil, and that works really well because it makes it really pliable. But you put it on the paper and then you just wrinkle it until you get this nice soft feeling. And then what I did was I put some metallics over it to give it that really fun texture, and I did it on both sides. And then this is some jelly printed paper. I'm just going to kind of show you what we're going to do with that. And I also showed you last week how to make paper that is like it's fused on rice paper, and then I wrinkled tissue paper and then glued it on, and now I have this Momigami, which is really normally very expensive if you were to buy it. This is just the plain white paper. It's just on there. So what I have is a variety of colors and textures. And this one I did this morning, and I wanted to share with you. I noticed that my paper was cracking quite a bit. This particular magazine, it kind of felt cracking. It was cracking. Oh, and by the way, I want to tell you, if you have a question as I'm showing you this, please write your question in the chat window, and I'll check it once in a while so that you're not left out in the dark. So. But I wanted to tell you, the cracking looked kind of white and kind of yucky. So what I did is I just took some Hooker's green paint, and you could see it through the other side, and it went into the cracks. And it didn't really soak so much into the magazine page because it's glossy, but it went really nicely into the cracks. So I wanted to say you can also paint if your papers are cracking. So I've got a variety of papers, wrinkled Momigami papers, and I also just have some decorative paper. This is some paper that I just jelly printed. It's rice paper. I kind of used this. This is left over from my last week's project. But anyway, so let's get started on the collage part. So what we have is a variety of papers, and if you just have plain tissue paper, that's great too. And what I did today on this one, you don't have to do this first. I just thought it'd be fun to try it. I just threw I didn't throw it, I painted it on. I used some magenta acrylic ink here. I'm going to use acrylics because since we are using gel medium or Mod Podge or white glue, anything you can use to do this. I'm going to be using these two because I don't want it to be too shiny, but anything like this, or just your glue, plain just glue is fine too. In fact, I'm going to grab a little glue because I don't want to be without it. Just plain old white glue. This is some neutral pH adhesive, but white, it's like Elmer's glue, except this is neutral pH. But so I have that, and then just a little glue brush or a bristle brush. I'm going to have a pencil, some scissors here. If you have some water, just to have it on hand. So I already did this one, but I want to do it on a colored background just for fun on this one. So I'm going to take my paper, and you can see this is just a barrier paper. Since if you're using a journal, you can always go paint to the outside. If you're just doing it on your Bristol board or watercolor paper, all is well. You can do it on anything you want, even a greeting card, like a blank greeting card, because these would be fabulous greeting cards. So you can just do your collage on that, and you're good to go. So first thing I need to do is to make a base. So I thought it'd be fun to take this rice paper, and I'm going to tear it. I just want to see how it looks when I tear it. I'm just going to make so it's got some white here, which if I had my other paper that I really love, my origami paper that has color core all the way through, then I would have I could have some pretty neat colors going on. Now I kind of like this, but I'm going to just cut this off. Just kind of give it, I don't think I want the white on the actual, on the edge. So I'm just going to cut this. But this is just all fun. Kind of tear some papers up. if you want. And since I don't really want the white border, I'm going to take that, and now I can do it. I can have it without the white. So just not really liking that much. So when you tear your paper, you'll have one side that will be white, and one side, which is I may use on something else, but not for this one. So I'm just going to do it. Take it so that I'll have the white on only one side. There we go. I'll just do 2 this time. And same thing, I'll just cut the edges off right here. So I'm also going to just take, so that's going to be, I'll start that. Maybe 3s are better, huh? Let's do 1 more. I'll just tear it 1 more time. And this is something to just have fun with. This is not, you're not thinking, oh, how I want to, you're really not thinking. You're just going to kind of be painting with paper. And you're not thinking about too much about composition, really. I think that would look nice. I might even make that thinner. Maybe just kind of do your basic laydown, but you don't really, you're going to be kind of loose here. I might even tear some of this off, just to make it a little thinner. And rice paper is this rice paper is it's pretty sturdy. Maybe that would look good. Okay, so let's get started. So what I also have is, I'm going to use a little, move this out of the way, because this is, scooch that down to there. And I'm going to move this here, right here. So what I have is just a little palette here. It's like something to just, so it's a wax, this is a wax paper palette. Strathmore makes it. I love it for painting, for everything. But for this today, I'm going to use it for my glues. So if I just use plain glue, that's fine. I'm going to take if I can get this off. That's all, they're pretty sturdy. I'm just going to put some on the back of my rice paper. And I love this little glue brush that I got. But you don't need that. You can just use a bristle brush. I'm just going to put some glue. I'm going to be generous. And because rice paper has, it swells up, and actually all papers will swell up a little bit with moisture. So you really want to give them a little time when you get your glue on. Just kind of give it a little time to swell. Let the fibers swell a little bit. And I'll just lay this one down first. Kind of just put it, I'm just going to do it. I'm not thinking much. And I'm going to put some glue over that, but right now I'm just going to let that, I'll put some medium over that, gel medium. I'm going to put some more glue here. What we're going to make today is we're going to do a botanical kind of thing, leaves, and maybe a flower pot. Maybe it's just a little, I'm thinking it'd be fun to make a little flower pot. And I saw this lady, I'm trying to remember her name now. Oh boy, it had come to me. She was on YouTube, and she was showing these really cool cards she had made. Her name is Barb Owen. Check her out. Her YouTube channel she has full-length tutorials, and they go on for an hour or so. But it's very, very satisfying to just sit with her and listen to her create. And anyway, she's the one that gave me the idea of this wrinkled paper, doing it the way I showed you last week. Normally, it's done like with the rice paper. So I'm just going to do it like this. I'm going to put this little bit down. Just take make some large, bold statements with your paper as a background. This is just the background. We're not making the final design yet. And I'm just going to kind of go over it a little bit so that all my edges go down. And what's great with rice paper, it has a little bit of fiber kind of going out. And I could add some matte medium on there now, but it's sticking pretty well, so I'm going to leave it like that. So now I'm ready to put that in water. Now I'm ready to make kind of a design. So I'm going to take my papers that I had worked on last week. This one would be cool as possibly as a flower pot because it's kind of red, or this one would be kind of nice because it has that copper look. You just have to look for papers that you'd like to use for your designs. And I already did something with this. I thought this was going to be pretty because I have lots of dark colors, and we have, let's see, maybe that one would be cool, having this and these. So I want to make a little flower pot. now. And I could draw on the back of this or just cut it out. I think I'm just going to cut it out randomly because I'm just going to use this part right in here. I'm just going to make a design kind of like a flower pot. It doesn't have to be, just cutting out a shape with my scissors. Kind of a really basic, nothing fancy, but just a little flower pot shape, kind of a, right here, you can see I've got a little thing happening here, and this looks like already leaves are happening, which is, I didn't plan it, but, and I can place it wherever I want, you know, just, and I'm going to also, I already kind of drew these out, but you see I drew out some leaves with my pencil, and I'll do that in a second, but I'm going to put some of that, I'm going to put this down with some glue at first. I'm just going to put it on the back. I don't know how the wrinkles are going to come out. We'll see. I've never, actually don't remember if the wrinkles sort of smooth out a little bit. You can always scrunch them down because we like those wrinkles. It gives them nice texture. And we'll just put enough glue on your paper. And this is the one that has oil on it. So I'm not sure how it's going to stick down, but hopefully it will stick nicely. I'm going to kind of center it right here, maybe a little lower than the paper. I'm just going to go ahead and even go over it a little bit because like I will be putting some medium over that. So there it is. It's sitting on nicely on my paper or on my, it's gluing down nicely, even though there's a little oil, that's fine. And I'm going to put that in the, you know, if you don't want to leave your brushes in the to dry with glue on it for too long. So I always have a little paper towel handy, and I've got them in water right now. Okay, next thing. So let's say you want to just make some leaves. What you want to do is if you want to cut them out freehand, that's fine. Or you can actually, however you're comfortable, you can draw or, you know, draw one or cut out one that you really like. But leaves are generally easy to cut out, or just that shape is kind of easy to cut out. So, you know, you can cut several of these. And I've got some already drawn. If you want to just draw on the back with your pencil, just take a pencil or a mark or pen. Pencils are probably better because it won't bleed through. But if you want to just draw some leaves, and you can draw any shape, you can draw a ginkgo shape or the sycamore trees, where they're kind of shaped like this. However, whatever shapes you want. I'm just going to do simple leaves, and I'm going to cut them out. Since I've already sketched them out. Of course, I kind of like doing a free flow and not really thinking, because they seem that my leaves are better when I do that. I think I want to do smaller ones too. Just cut them out. Cut out maybe 7, 8, 9 leaves, and we'll just do that. I think smaller will look cuter, so I'm just going to freehand it now. In any shape, whatever you want to do. And vary them a little bit, but if they're coming from the same plant, you kind of want them similar in shape, I guess. But it's up to you. This is your collage, and it's what you're making. I'm just showing you what I'll do. And then you can also, like this little leaf, I don't really like the shape that much, but I love the scissors because you can reshape it. And you will be drawing or painting again over this, but so I've got 1, 2, this one's too big. I'm going to make this one a little smaller. There we are. You can save all your little scraps. Don't throw away your scraps. Put them in. What I like to do is to take my scraps and put them in little baggies that kind of, like all my golds and my oranges, all my warm colors, and then my greens in one, and then just have them ready so that you can do this kind of work. And then you always can go back and find little bits and pieces that you could use for another piece. And I really think it'd be fun to make some greeting cards, a whole series of little cute little flower pot greeting cards, or little potted plant greeting cards. Or would it also be cute, or little cactus, like little succulents, just kind of cut out little designs and just make really fun things. So got a series of leaves. I'm going to make this one smaller. Now I see that what I need to do. And I'm going to do maybe just a few more. And I love this gold paper. And here's another one I did with a little, it has like a different gold, kind of a green and gold. And I might just do a couple of those. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I like that one. And this rice paper, the one with the rice paper already on it, it's not going to wrinkle again because it's already mounted on a smooth back. So it's not going anywhere. The wrinkles will stay just as wrinkled as they are now. That nice texture that we're going to get from this. Okay, now I've got those, I'm ready, I think I'm ready to start assembling. So I'm going to lay it out sort of like, to kind of give it a general layout, maybe starting with up here, starting with this, I'll just make my leaves the smaller ones. I'll start at the top and then I'll just work my way down. I might not use all of these in one thing, but it's like a brand, like we'll just see, just kind of arrange them generally in the area that you want to do it. I'm going to put maybe one here. I think I'll make this one smaller. Here we go, like that maybe. So I'm going to have two, I think I'm going to have two branches of leaves on this one. You can have yours a lot simpler, less leaves. I mean, especially if you're using a greeting card, you might want to just go be have a fewer, but this is just kind of where I'm going to go. I'm going to do 1 and 2 and maybe, I think I'll do one more. I want to go back to this really pretty color here. And this one will be even a smaller one. Maybe like this. Okay, so I kind of have an idea of how it's going to be. And I'm thinking if I have my stem coming down, as you can see on this side, I'm just going to, now I'll just start to glue down my little pieces. And I'm going to take my brush. I can use the gel medium or the glue. I think this time I'm going to use the medium, the regular gel. This is a nice heavy-duty, heavy-bodied gel. And I'll start with this top one and I'll work my way, putting a little bit on the back of the leaf. And then I'm just going to place it down. Right now it's not going anywhere. And then I'll put a little bit on top too. Now it's not going anywhere. It's there. And same with this one. This gel medium works great as a glue. So it's whatever you have on hand. But white glue, like I said, white glue will also work very well. And you just put all your leaves. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. That's my... I'm going to send him a quick message. There we go. There we are. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn my phone off, my phone ringer. Okay. So I'm actually aligning my leaves, kind of thinking about that little stem, or the branch to connect these, because right now they're not connected to anything. So just kind of when you're making your collage, have that in mind. Or you can decide if you want to make the several little ones coming off, like this one has a little something coming off. And just get all your little bits laid down. This is, to me, I love collage. It's very satisfying. And what I love about this is all these papers were decorated. I decorated them. So you even have a little bit, there's nothing unoriginal here as far as where I don't have any printed matter, which you could do. I think maybe some printed papers would look really great. But when you don't have access to stuff like that and you want to make your own, you certainly can make your own. It's just, the possibilities are endless. And I like this pink that's popping through now. The bright pink is now, it's a nice vibrant background, and I see some of the pink is coming off on my brush. That was from earlier. But maybe a little pink won't be bad to have it on there. Let's see, I have some, it's coming off. I didn't really rinse it enough. Here we are. And just keeping you, or you can lay, another way is I'm putting the matte medium down on the paper first, and I could do it this way as well. Oops, that's the wrong one. If you do it that way, it's kind of nice. You have a little time to kind of move it around. Actually, that's nicer. I like doing it that way. If you kind of have the general area of where you're going to place it. Let's see, here we go, maybe like this. Have it just kind of, and these little wrinkled leaves, I just think are so, these textures are so pretty. And there, I think I've got enough. Drop that one down and maybe another couple. I just keep wanting to add more leaves. But we can draw and do other things with this. Let's see, maybe another leaf somewhere around, a little leaf. Let's see. And that paper that you made, your wrinkled paper, Momigami, will go a long way with these little collages. You can get a lot of design, a lot of things out of it. I think I'm gonna just drop that one maybe here. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna leave it alone. Sometimes best to leave it alone. Oh, no, actually, no, I'm gonna be bad. I'm gonna overlap. There we go. Just gonna do it. Not thinking anymore. In fact, sometimes I think I do better if I'm not thinking about it. Okay, so now that's done, and now I'm going to take just put a nice little layer of medium over this whole thing. Just kind of just to let it sort of look like it's fused together. You can use a wider brush. I'm using a very narrow brush, but I didn't want to get up and get another one. Then you need to let that dry, which, there we go. Let me get my heat gun and I'll dry it so we can do the next step. And if you have a heat gun or a hair dryer, it's all good. I'm just gonna grab that little guy and plug myself in. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to dry it. Definitely want to make some cards out of this. I think it's fun to try out things in a journal, though. If you just want to try something, and then you can write notes to yourself of how you made it, and then you can go on to produce other things, or do cards or paintings or whatever you want to do. A journal is a great way to just try techniques out. Then you have a catalog of your techniques, and basically your journal is like a little instruction book for the future. I find that I forget a lot of times when I make something. I'll go, how did I do that? But having it in a journal really helps to give you a documentation of what you've made. All right, so that's dry enough anyway to do my next thing. So now I'm going to gotta find a finer brush than this, okay. So what I have now is I've got a couple of fine brushes. And that's dry enough to work on, I think. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to get a new pad because this has got glue on it. I'm going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to mix up some paint. Normally, I didn't even think about getting some paints that would be darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make some color or a dark color out of all my three colors. One thing I've found is if I am just stuck, this is the colors I will not live without. If I had to get rid of every paint in the world or every color, I would always have phthalo blue, quinacridone, magenta, and a transparent yellow, either Hansa yellow or this is I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm a dazzalone yellow. It's just a transparent yellow. But what I like to do is I always have those three colors because I can make any color I want out of those, from those. So, if I have to downsize and I only need the three, this is it. This is what I would have. So I'm going to make even a dark color out of that because I do want to have a dark, kind of a greenish color in that. So I'm going to take the blue and a little bit magenta, which is like now I've got a really dark kind of a purpley color. But if I throw yellow in there, you see how nice and dark it is? It almost, you can't, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a very dark blackish green, which is exactly what I was looking for. So there it's, you can see as I draw it down, I'll even add more yellow to it. All right, so I'm just going to use a little, just try it out. That color I'm looking, that's the color I wanted. So I'm just going to start by making my little, start here at the top of my little branch, and I'm just going down to the pot, to the beginning of the pot. And now I'm just going to take I'm going to paint my little leaves and join them to the branch. I'm just going to do that with all the leaves. Just, oops, it's a little heavy duty, but anyway, I'll fix that. See how I'm just going to just connect these to my branch. And I can always adjust the thickness and stuff, but I'm just starting with a basic line right now. Just basic. Here I'm just going to go like that. So now I have like the beginning of my potted plant. Now I think I'll go thicker in the center. I'll just go a little bit, make it a little bit thicker so. And I can also add some white. Now if you add white to to this mixture that I have, I can grab some white. There's white. So now I can make anything. So if I wanted to make it lighter, so now my green is going to be a little bit lighter. I'll just put a little more yellow. Now that's the green I'm looking for. So adding white really gives it, you're able to pull that color out. So I'm just going to make it a little bit nice, thick, a little thicker line right here. And this. If you want to use a marker, you can use a marker too. It doesn't have to be paint. Just draw with your marker or something. It has to be probably an acrylic because we've already put it. The gel medium will not accept watercolors and things like that. So I don't know of a glue that will accept nori paste. Actually, nori paste will let you paint over with watercolors. I'm just doing this, and then if I want to take my leaves and I want to do a little vein through them, I can just do a little vein, like a very light, nice little line through there on all of these, or I can keep it really simple. I don't need, oops, that's a little shaky. That's a little shaky. So, because it's acrylic, the beauty of that, if I act fast enough, I can always change my mind, which I will, because that's just a little too much, too shaky. So I'm just going to rub that off. I didn't like that line. If you wanted to, you can add like I did with this side. But for some reason, I like it this way. So I'm going to take my pot and I'm going to mix, I've just now mixed like a dark purple. You can see with my acrylics, it's kind of a nice dark purple. Maybe I'll add it, make it a little more red because I'm just going to add a little yellow there. And I just want to I don't need to enhance this, but if I want, I can put it on a base or a table, create like a little place for it to sit. So it's not just sitting on in the air. That's one thing I could do, or I could just leave it alone. Sometimes simple's better. But I kind of like this, and I might add some light to this, some white color, and I could use just gonna put this color down. I could use a white marker now to make some highlights. There, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Kind of like that. Might go all the way to the edge. Blot out some of that bright pink too. So that's now it's sitting on a something. And here I can also just keep enhancing my branch. Actually, I'm going to do it with the purple because I like that purple color better than I liked the green. I think it just looks more natural. I don't know if it's natural, but it looks better to me. And that's the thing, the beauty about this is just something you can layer. If you don't like, if you want to just keep adding layers, you can add more paper layers. And just keep playing with it and paint. This is a painting, paper painting. There we are. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And I think what I could do is I could add some white highlights, and what I think would be fun, something I thought I'd try. I haven't done this before, but I'm going to try it with you. I'm going to just take a little bit of this white, and I'm going to just take it really dry, like barely. I just want to see what happens. I'm going to put it over this wrinkled paper and just see what happens. Then I can always wipe it off if I don't like it. So I'm kind of highlighting it. Yeah, I kind of like that. So, but I did put the highlight on this part, and I didn't want that. But if you want to, you can actually highlight your leaves. But it's kind of a dry brush, so you can do all kinds of things. If you don't like it, you can always wipe it off, or just because you have that acrylic over it, over your, you've done this medium over it, so now I can just scrub it off if I want. But I kind of like the highlights. It makes it look interesting. So that is my, that kind of is the collage, but that's how simple it is. A little pot and a little, and after it's dry, I'm going to highlight it a little bit with a pen. Just a second here. I can grab a pen. There we are. So I'm just going to use one of these little markers. I could, instead of the paintbrush. I'm just not feeling steady today with the paintbrush for some reason. So markers are good when you're not feeling steady. You could actually just draw, if you want to be really loose, like loosey-goosey, I'm going to go crazy here. I'm just going to draw. Whoop, that was too loosey-goosey. It spattered everywhere. That's funny. That happens. So now I'm just going to wipe it off. That's the beauty of that. That didn't work because I just was a little too crazy with it. So now I'm just going to take this and go a little slower. And we're going to create like a highlight at the top of this little pot. And maybe just draw around it. If I want to use a dark color, I can do that too. But just going to kind of do a little bit of drawing, just to bring that shape out a little bit more. And this is the fun thing is that because it's just an acrylic, I can always layer over it or paint over it as well. So I do like having a little bit of a border. I think that's fun. And I can also create like little just shapes, textures. I can doodle over it, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to draw some little goofy doodles just to give it some texture. Maybe it looks like maybe it's like they're dropping seeds or something. But I do think that it needed some light because it was very dark. So I'm just adding some light to it. And I might just leave that there, or I could just continue that through, maybe just to kind of tie everything together. And it's fun to just play and experiment. These are raindrops coming down, I think. And adding some drawing elements to it. Now I see that I could change my mind, which I'm doing a lot of that. I'm seeing that I really want to make this darker, so around where I put the light, I'm going to just make it darker with my mixture of paint, maybe some more magenta. So you can see you don't really need a lot of colors, you just need your 3 colors, and it makes everything. Now I'm going to do this instead. I'm changing my mind, and where that white was, I'm going to make it dark because I think that would just look more interesting. Same thing here. I'm just going to give it some more shadow rather than highlight around that. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, that's more fun. Same thing, I can do little designs, like I can make little lines I can doodle on this. I can do, I can paint dark lines instead of those green ones. I can paint just little smaller veins, like maybe here like this, more delicate instead of going all the way through, just to kind of continue my, there we are, like that. I think that looks better. Just play with your, and with the gel medium, you can go over and over. There we are, that'll look better. Kind of connects those collage elements a little bit. There, it doesn't have to be fancy. And if I want to, next thing, the last thing I think on this, because I'm liking it so far, I think it's quite fun with those little marks on it. I could take my brush and just take a light wash of yellow and white maybe. I think that would look fun. Just a really light wash. I might just pop these colors out a little bit more on this, on these leaves. They just need a little, they're sort of dull, so I'm just going to add a little white and just adding some pop to them with my white and a little bit of yellow. So you're able to alter your, you can keep painting because everything is all coordinated together. There we are, like that. And what I have is, I can see in the background, I don't know if you see this on the camera, but on my background, there we go. If it gets off kilter, you just wipe it off. There we go. You can kind of see that the background paper has some skeleton leaves, really soft. I can see them on my end here, but maybe you can't see them on yours. But it really shows this really fun pattern, kind of motif that's going on here. So I've kind of highlighted them. I'm just gonna leave that in there. And I see a little spot where, if you ever see a little spot where some glue has, you just put some glue, just glue it down. Like I see a little, my leaf wants to come up here. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of, just a touch of glue right down there, and I'm gonna lay that down. And then the very last coat, if you want, you could choose to put, there it is. You can choose to leave it matte like that, or you can put a gloss on it, but I don't think a gloss is necessary. But I think I might want to just put one more layer of matte medium just to kind of finish it off. Once I'm really done with, I think I'm going to do some more of these. I love these little, I don't know, whatever they are, raindrop things, textures, just something to kind of give some contrast. There. That's it. Yeah, that's fun. And then I think I should just stop while I'm ahead.